By the late 6th century BC, Rome was no longer a village. It was a city, ruled, like most cities of its time, by a king. But this king was different. History remembers him as a tyrant, a ruler who governed through fear, not consent. And after generations of kings who had built Rome up, this one would be the reason it tore the crown away entirely. The final straw came not on a battlefield, but through an act of injustice against a Roman noblewoman, one so shocking that it turned the people of Rome against their own king. In 509 BC, the citizens rose up. The king was driven out of the city, never to return. And for the first time in its history, Rome had no king at all. In the king's place, the Romans built something entirely new, a government not of one man, but of many. A council of elder statesmen drawn from Rome's most respected families, given the task of guiding the state. They called it the Senate, from the Latin word for elder. It would go on to shape Roman policy for the next 500 years. Every decision, every debate, every law would now pass through this chamber. But even the Senate needed leadership. So Rome created a new office, the consulship. 2 consuls elected each year, sharing equal power and equal responsibility. It was a safeguard deliberately designed. No single man could ever again hold the kind of unchecked authority a king once had. If one consul overreached, the other could stop him. This balance of power, shared, limited, and temporary, would become the defining principle of the Roman Republic. But the Republic was far from equal. Rome's wealthy families, the patricians, held nearly all political power. The common people, the plebeians, had almost none. For generations, ordinary Romans farmed the land, fought in the army, and paid the taxes, while having little say in how their city was governed. Eventually, they'd had enough. The plebeians organized, and in one of history's earliest recorded labor strikes, they simply walked out of the city, refusing to work, refusing to fight, until their voices were heard. Their protest worked. Rome was forced to write its laws down for the first time, publicly, permanently, where every citizen could see them. These became known as the 12 Tables, Rome's first legal code, carved into bronze and displayed in the Forum for all to read. It wasn't full equality, not yet. But it was something Rome had never had before. A law that applied to everyone, not just to the powerful. With its government taking shape, Rome began to grow in every direction. Markets expanded. Roads were built, connecting the city to its neighbors. Trade brought wealth, and wealth brought ambition. Slowly, a distinct Roman identity began to form, one built not around a king, but around citizenship itself. To be Roman was no longer just to live in Rome. It was to belong to something larger, a republic. By the 4th century BC, Rome controlled much of central Italy. Its legions were growing stronger. Its ambitions were growing bigger. Pause. To the south, across the sea, a rival power was watching Rome's rise with concern. A wealthy trading empire called Carthage. Rome and Carthage would soon collide in a conflict that would decide who truly ruled the Mediterranean. That war is next.